Good morning, everybody. It's good to see everybody's face this morning. My name is Steven. This is Alicia over here. And then we have Honor. We get to lead the music portion of service this morning. And welcome if this is your first time. Or if it's your millionth time here. We're so glad you're here. Usually we sing a couple songs to start off service, but as we always say, you're welcome to not participate in singing. You're welcome to sit back there. We have tables where you can kind of just doodle around if you want. People walk back, get some donuts if you want. It's really chill, so. But feel free to sing with us if you want.
us a tray. Come sit at the table. Taste the grace. Let us rest for the week. Rest at your doors. Earth has a sorrow that love cannot cure. So lay down your burdens, lay down your shame. All broken, lift up your faith.
Let's give it up for worship. I was wondering how I was going to navigate getting over here because of the kids' corner. It looks like a fun time over there. Hi everyone, my name is Donna and I am one of the pastors here, and this is Safe Harbor OC Church. For those of you who are new, you might hear us use the acronym SHOCK Church. That's our acronym. It's cool. It's what most people call us. So if you hear that, that's who we are. We're Safe Harbor or SHOCK. And we're a Jesus-centered community, reimagining inclusive spaces for people to rest, restore, belong, and become. And we're so glad you're here. Happy Pride Month, everyone. So exciting. It's so fun to start off Pride with each other. I think it's really momentous, really, really special that we get to do that today. Before we get started, you might notice there's children here. We do a kids prayer, and then we send the kids off with our leaders. So if you're a leader, we have Colin over here who's going to be our leader. We have Rowan in the back who's going to be our leader. And we have Jesse over here in the corner who's going to be a leader. So we've got just dads doing the kids ministry today, which is really great. So before we get started, let's pray. God, thank you so much for these incredible kids in our midst. And for the kids at home or doing something fun for the summer already, will you just be with each and every one of us adults as we're navigating our own attachment styles, not just spiritually, but also relationally. Will you just be with each and every one of us as we continue to heal those attachment styles and teach us what it looks like to build a secure attachment with these kids. In your name, amen. All right, kids, if you feel comfortable, you can go with our leaders to the kids' room. We'll wait patiently as you navigate the process of throwing your toys back into that bin and moving towards the kids' room. If that is what you want. You can also hang out here. You don't need to go. I'll do a little introduction as we wait for our kids to get assembled. So, we have been talking about attachment styles. And for those of you who are not familiar with attachment styles, this is something that you might learn in therapy if you go to therapy. And we just learn not just what it looks like to build a secure attachment, but also what it might look like for us to have an insecure attachment, and naming that without any judgment, and seeing how that shows up in our spirituality, in our faith, in our relationship to God. And so Dottie, our teaching pastor, is going to continue with our series on attachment style, talking about insecure attachment. Give it up for Dottie.
Thank you, Donna. I was working on secure attachment with my kiddos. Hi, Bex. Have fun. Bye, sis. Hi, Bradley Kit. Awesome. I just hung out with children's pastors for the last couple days where we were focused on establishing secure attachment with kids and experiencing trust. And one of the big takeaways from our time together was we want kids to feel safe in our churches. We want them to feel when they come in that this is their place too, that it's not just adults, like a downward relationship, but that they are contributing to our community just as much as we are. So thank you all we've been incorporating kids in our services for probably over 6 months, maybe even longer. And that was given to us by someone that studies kids in churches, but you'll notice sometimes kids are gonna stay in here, sometimes they're over there. We welcome the noises of children, we welcome their presence, and think it's a really, really good thing, and it helps us establish secure attachment with them. So, how many of you, we're gonna get into this series, and this sermon, and it's gonna be good and fun, we're gonna learn some new things. And before we do, how many of you have been told you're fine? Yes. Like stubbed your toe, scraped your knee as a kid, you're fine. My dad, as a competitive athlete, he would tell me like, "You're okay, kid, don't rub your shoulder." Like, and I'd be like, "Okay, don't rub my shoulder." Like, or like that, like, don't rub it. And you're fine, you're good, you're good. We're going to be talking about more of how that narrative happens when we experience these negative emotions, when something kicks up for us, and we are met with a response of, "You're fine. Get rid of these emotions," or "Your emotions are too much for me." So, last time we talked about an anxious attachment style, which is like a balloon. We are holding on to so tight with relationships and with God. We feel like we need to be close, we've got to hold on to the balloon like a little kid that doesn't want to lose a balloon at Disneyland. This week we're going to be talking about avoidant attachment, and I'll get more into that, which essentially is like you are the balloon, hovering above, not wanting to get too close to anyone, afraid that you will get hurt. So, we're going to go back into what is attachment science. If you have been here for the last couple times, you've heard this before. If you are new, welcome. We are looking at attachment science, what it is and how it impacts the way we see ourselves, the way we see people, and the way we view God. So attachment science came out of the 1950s with Dr. John Bowlby, and it's the study of how we connect with others. Essentially, as kids, we grow up in this world connecting to our caregivers, and we are given different messages, different responses that make us feel either secure and safe, or generally insecure. And it shows us that as people, we are all wired for connection and closeness, and we're all asking the central question in our human existence: do I feel safe? Do I feel safe in this relationship? And how is that playing out? And how will I respond? So, how does this relate to church? We're not just doing pop psychology. how does this relate to church? Well, I also do actually research in psychology, and one of the areas that I researched is called attachment to God theory, which essentially says the way that we attach to our caregivers, the way that we attach to people, our way of operating often is correlated in how we understand God. So that means if I feel like, man, if I stub my toe and I'm met with a response from my dad that is, don't feel it, suck it up, when I'm having a hard day, I might also feel like with God, don't feel it, suck it up, right? The way that we typically attach to our caregivers is really similar in how we attach to God. And what's really exciting in some of the research we've done is we've found that people that have an insecure attachment with their caregivers can have a secure attachment with God, and there's a ton of awesome data that shows it does impact our well-being. And the reverse, you could have a secure attachment with your parents and then go to church and develop an insecure attachment with God. So when we are talking each week, we're looking at how can we all build a secure attachment with God. I'm not necessarily saying it's all about having a close relationship with God. I am saying instead, how do we feel a sense of security, safety, and belonging when we think about God, the divine, higher power, mystery? How do our bodies read it as we are safe, we are good, we're secure? Now, each week I'm going to be taking us through different attachment styles. And some of you, maybe last time when it was anxious attachment, you're like, oh, this is me, this is irrelevant, or something, you're like, no. And I just want to invite us all that we have something to learn from each week, because these are all of us, right? Someone here every time we're all resonating in certain ways with these, and we can learn about how our friends, our community, our family members operate. And so here are the 4 attachment styles we've been going through. So secure attachment is that feeling of, I feel really safe, I feel good. I could be having a tough day, I could stub my toe and have a really big reaction and still be met with, I feel you, I see you, you're good. Anxious is this feeling of, oh my gosh, are we okay, are we okay, are we okay? That's what we did last week. This week we are looking at avoidant. Yay! For those that are maybe more avoidant, they find in the room, they're like, oh gosh. Okay, so avoidant or dismissive is the attachment style we're going to be looking at. And before we get into it, it's really important that we just share that attachment theory without a systemic lens is incomplete. So, again, attachment theory, usually at Shock, we are really mindful of not centralizing cis-het white men. That's usually not how our materials are formed. Attachment theory is pretty formed by a lot of white men that are cis and heterosexual. So we do it, and we also do it with as much nuance as we can. So attachment theory is really focused on this relationship between kiddo and caregiver. And what's really important is that we continue to bring to mind that the systems of oppression highly influence our survival tactics. So of course, there are certain things, and I think avoidant is a great example of this. Of course, there's certain things that are going to impact the way that we find safety and security if maybe our homes are safe, but the world around is completely unsafe with different systemic injustices. And I love this question, what are we surviving? What are we having to adapt to? So we're gonna hold that in mind. All right, are we ready to look at avoidant attachment style? Yeah, woo! Let's get an emotional response. Yeah! Woo! Okay, that's not gonna happen today. All right, so avoidant attachment style is this pattern of relating in which a person tends to downplay emotional needs, suppress vulnerability, and maintain distance in relationships to protect themselves from dependence or rejection. So this is formed out of a sense that as a kid, maybe I stubbed my toe and I looked at my parent and and they either didn't care about my emotions if I was having a hard time, or the parent was really dysregulated by them. So the message as a kid then becomes, oh, if I am emotional, they can't handle this. It's not safe to experience these emotions. Is anyone familiar with avoidant attachment style that wants to share a little bit about it? No. No, okay. This is a really different Sunday than our anxious attachment style. When we did anxious, everyone was like, yeah, do. And avoidant is a little more somber, which I think is on brand. It's great. So some key features about folks that have more insecure avoidant attachment style is there's a fear of dependence on other people, right? There's a deep discomfort with relying on others because there's this modality of I've had to learn how to be really, really self-sufficient. So an example of this could be, I know someone that as a kid, they had a hard time sleeping, and every time they went to wake up their parents had this really like surprise response. And it scared them as a kid. So then they learned, oh, I can't wake up my parents in the middle of the night, I'll just cry to sleep, right? So it's sad, and we're gonna hold this together tenderly. Again, take breaks as you need, take care of yourself during this. It might ignite some emotions or some memories. But some other features of avoidant attachment is emotional distancing. I don't really want to feel my own emotions, but I'm also nervous to feel other people's emotions because I don't feel safe. So there's this high value on independence, which is I'll just do it myself. I'm really self-sufficient. Discomfort with closeness, and also a minimizing of needs. Downplaying, oh, I'm fine, I'm good, right? I'm taught as a kid to just be fine. That is also how it might develop as an adult. I love this. I read this in a book that by the time you're an adult, the emotions barely even register. You don't feel much, so you don't need others' help when you feel bad. So again, this downplaying of emotions of I'm good, I'm not going to be relying on other people, muted emotions are not safe. Now, for those of us that are interacting with someone closely in an avoidant attachment like style, we might feel like, oh man, I just want to know what you're thinking, or I just want you to tell me what's going on, right? So for those of us that are in relationship with someone that has a more avoidant attachment style, it can be harder for them to disclose information, and it might be harder for them to feel emotional intimacy. So while the anxious attachment style that we went through last time is this kind of hyperfixation, are we okay? Are we close? Are we doing all right? The avoidant, the partner, maybe in a relationship or a friendship or a family member might be going, hey, like, what's going on? Asking the person that's more avoidant, like, can you just tell me, like, how are you feeling? I really want to know. Yeah, so that is a little snippet about avoidant attachment style. Now, again, this comes to our spirituality, and we see the ways that this parallels and mirrors and how we relate to God. Of course, right? There's so much about that makes sense. The book that I've been going through talks about this as shut down attachment style. So I'm going to share some quotes, and you might hear that term shut down instead of avoidant. And I love the way that he describes this type of spirituality. Shut down attachment is a pattern of trying to stuff down our negative emotions to get close to God. It is based on the presumption that emotions such as fear, sadness, pain, and doubt are incompatible with a life of faith. So we try as hard as we can not to feel these things, often using religious language saying, God is in control, so why should I worry? Shutting down uncontrollable feelings seems like the path to becoming a person who truly trusts God. This makes a ton of sense. So emotions are unbearable, and a lot of us, we've been taught they're really not safe in in faith, and they're a lack of faith to feel any type of negative emotions. And so, to have a good faith or to trust God means not to have any negative emotion. Let's look a little bit more into what this could look like. This book calls out a Christian author that I've loved as a teenager. The Christian author's name is Francis Chan. Has anyone heard of him?
Yeah.
Yes. For those of you that know his reference, it's hilarious. Okay. When I read this, I was like, oh my goodness. So Francis Chan has some really hardy convictions that maybe could contribute to some of our religious trauma. So I love this way of viewing some of Francis Chan's words. So some of us have been taught that the very existence of certain feelings is an affront to God. Francis Chan wrote, "Worry implies we don't quite trust God," suggesting that both worry and stress reek of arrogance. We don't want to drive God away with our foul-smelling emotions, so we come up with a handful of tools to manage them on our own. Usually this looks like some version of either working extra hard to conjure up feelings of peace and joy, or shutting down altogether so that we don't feel anxious or worried or happy or anything at all. We'll do whatever we can to keep God close, so we try to subdue our emotions under our control. We stuff our feelings in the basement, hoping they won't drive God away. So with insecure, avoidant type spirituality, there is this tendency of my emotions are not safe, and actually there's been a lot of messaging that have said that. So don't be angry, don't be upset, don't doubt, don't be anxious. If you're depressed, you're not experiencing the joy of God. There's all of these things. So then, with a more avoidant-like spirituality, there's this deep prioritization of belief system. If I have the right beliefs, if I have the right intellect, if I have the right cognitive ways of thinking, then it'll work out, and I don't have to worry about my emotions. So again, a high prioritization on not having emotional intimacy and really relying on intellect. I love this finding about what that could produce to when the belief system, when emotions are cut off and a belief system is really prioritized. So, research shows that those with a shutdown attachment style are much less likely to change their beliefs about a particular issue, because often changing the way we view a particular issue is often linked to an emotional experience that causes us to reevaluate our belief. A common example would be that many white people have changed their belief about prevalence of racism in society only after hearing personal stories of people who have experienced it. So this being, a lot of people are not willing to change their beliefs, even about things like systemic injustices, like racism, until they hear a personal story. But there's a hyperfixation, whereas anxious attachment was a hyperfixation on closeness and are we okay? There's more of a hyperfixation on belief, dogma, the right mindset, muting and cutting off emotions. So, man, there's so much here. I think we are gonna do our discussion time right now. Uh-oh. Okay. Before we do, all of these attachment styles are our defense mechanisms to operating in the world. We're gonna continue to get more into the systemic things, and I do feel like, of course, a lot of people in their spirituality and now today don't feel safe to express their emotions, and especially for those that have marginalized identities. Those of us, the only option was to be muted, silent, and to say, great, there's no way in which this is safe. So we're going to talk a little bit together. If this is your first time here, in the middle of sermons, we talk to our neighbors. If you are not feeling chatty, that is awesome. I just talked to someone this last week and she's like, I don't think I can come to your church because it's a small church and I don't want to talk to anyone. And I'm like, just you wait. We have so many people that are not willing to talk to others either, and we love that. So if you are not feeling chatty today, we do a thumbs down to your neighbor. Everyone show us a thumbs down. Yes. No one's going to be offended if you put a thumbs down to your neighbor. If you came with a group or just one other person, and that's the only person you want to talk to, that is also okay. You're going to go like this. And you're just going to say like, hey, me and my neighbor are going to talk. This is it for us. No one's going to be offended. We are able to do this. Express what you need. Woohoo! And if you are feeling like you want to meet some new friends, you want to talk about some things, circle up and group serve around 4 people. And we'll be looking at these questions. What were some key narratives that you were taught about your emotions growing up? This could be in family, church, society. And then what messages about God's love or approval did you grow up with, and how did they shape your ability to be vulnerable? All right, so I'll bring you back here in 5 to 10 minutes. But for now, you can turn to your neighbors, or of course, as always, walk out, go grab coffee, donuts, and there's coloring in the back too, if anyone is like me and needs to color. So yeah, so take care of yourself, and then we'll come back here.
Okay, we got
I'm sorry. I'm Alicia. Off myself like that, yeah.
Why not? Oh, yeah.
It's like validation. Like you just that's kind of affirmation. Dottie was like the one you run away.
I feel like in my family, it's like not handled, processed, period, properly. Like slash, if they were expressed, it was like, it was bad, angry, like don't let the sun go down on your neighbor, that classic. Because like conflict was not mitigated, like check points and responsibility building, and then it's like explosive.
Okay. It's just like the junk drawer in your kitchen, and it's like over time, it's like, yeah, and it's like you try to open it, fit before, and it's like, I can't find this season. You gotta throw everything out. It's like everyone's having a horrible time.
Love that for the
Like in therapy to be like less avoidant, I actually like straight up didn't even go to my commencement, like my graduation for my bachelor's because yeah, like it was like really freaking out, and I saw all of my friends like from school, like I haven't been in school since December, that's when I like finished, so I was but I missed the sign up, and then like Kate was so mad at me because I was like, yeah, I'm celebrating my proud and I was like, yeah, but my parents don't give a shit, so like, what's that? And then like we talked about that with my therapist, because I was like, yeah, I don't care, like, and then I started crying, and I was like, and so it was just like, so stupid, and I think that was, yeah, she was just like, really something in my head, like, I don't know about like my success, I was like, I know that I was like proud of myself, like I did a thing, but it's like, you really deserve to be something, have that space and stuff. I get pissed at anyone else, like,
right.
wait a minute.
Why is it okay for them but not for me?
I don't deserve like that. Yeah, I deserve love. So stupid. Just like she was saying, it's like the impact of sorry.
Just trust.
The just trust is so annoying. No, seriously.
That's every Christmas.
Well, but yeah, but then we're walking away.
It's pretty wild, like how the message, even if they were more simple, not like it doesn't sound
This also shows something about
That's crazy. Like God was taught to be like so. When I look back and I think about the different elements that they were don't worry, everything is fine. Like that's where all the issues.
Okay, take like the next 2 minutes, minute or two. Really quick, can I get it from the room? How much more time do you need to wrap up? A minute? 2. We're asking for 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes. All right, I'll bring us back.
2 more minutes.
Sitting there alone, like not like really alone, but like I would just like I didn't really have friends because like I was so different years. I didn't fit in like generalize and like whatever like close and that. And so I was just like I feel incredible. Like the most alone that I've ever felt like in this church. Like just like he's doing a bad job. We don't deserve like the
Just gotta read your Bible more, go back to the Word. Yeah, follow.
We are gonna come on back. Okay, awesome. This room was buzzing. That was really fun to watch. Okay, well, I would love to hear what were some themes that came up. What were maybe some key narratives that you thought about your emotions or emotions in general?
I could be vulnerable with other people, but not with God.
I could be vulnerable with other people, but not with God. What else? Yeah, Gabe.
That respect for our elders meant blind obedience.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Chelsea.
how we grew up has lasting impacts even as adults. I mean, like, you were talking about that, but it's just like reflecting on the ways that like real examples of that. Like, I didn't go to my commencement because I was like, my parents don't care, you know, and so it's, I'm avoidant. It's okay. But it's like stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, such a lasting impact. Yeah.
I I talked a little bit about how I kind of was taught, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but like, you need to be able to feel like all the joy and like be crying during worship and all that stuff. And then like not the doubt or not like the upset at certain things. And I shared an experience I had at a previous church where we were doing like a Bible study, and I had shared being vulnerable, like, oh, it's really hard sometimes seeing that God doesn't like enact karma on people who've like caused you trauma. And I had just been told like, well, God doesn't owe you anything. And I was like, oh, okay. And I kind of reflected on it was kind of just suffered, God doesn't owe you anything there. But then if I had shared that here at this church, then it would have been more likely like, that's really hard. And God stands in solidarity with you even if you can't necessarily see it. And we talked about how it's kind of healthier in this church for that reason.
Thank you. Oh, God doesn't owe you anything. That's tough. What else? What were some narratives about emotions? Yeah.
We felt that the fear of hell made it difficult for us to express our real emotions because of the fear that it created in us.
Ooh, we're cooking, Drew. After the last sermon, someone close to me was like, listened to him. I said, well, yeah, if you feel anything, like I totally resonate with that way. If you feel anything, like we're gonna be punished, we'll go to hell. And I was like, that is actually not anxious spirituality, that is avoidant. Yes, and it is. Like there's that real fear in it all. That if I feel these emotions, I'm not gonna be accepted in my family, I'm not gonna be accepted in society or my churches, or actually I will be punished. And that is really, really scary and destabilizing. Yeah. Before we move on, I'm gonna have us take a deep breath. We are safe here. God does love us. No one here is going to hell. We are good. Okay. Does anyone else want to share about some things that came up in your group, whether it's emotions or what you felt like you had to do for God's love or approval?
Well, I didn't share this in the group, but I think for me, I felt like I had to check all the boxes, like read your Bible every day, pray every morning or every night, and like go to church every week, and and there's a whole other list of things, and avoid this whole list of other things you're not supposed to do, like drinking, cussing, stuff like that.
I felt like I couldn't be anxious as a kid. I remember, like, if I was anxious, that meant I was disappointing God. I don't know if anyone has experienced that. Anxiety, just me? What's the anxiety? Okay, I can't say that. You know what I mean? Yeah, all right. So there's a lot of different stories in this room. There's a lot of different narratives that we've received around our own emotions and messages we have about God or the afterlife or what does it mean to belong in a church community. There's a lot of just stay in your lane, or you can just experience appropriate emotions. You can share you're having a hard day, but as soon as you get too volatile or whatever, too much, then it's not safe. So I just want to share some verses in the Bible that maybe reinforce an avoidant spirituality. So there's things in the Bible that we come across like, no, it's okay, please tell. Okay, like Jeremiah, like there's these verses that we throw around. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it? Okay, don't trust your heart, rely on your head, be in control, be tempered. Proverbs, whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has easy temper exalts folly, right? Don't be angry, just be like steady, don't feel emotions. Oh, there's one I had on my mirror as a kid, and I just am gonna embrace that part of me. Okay. Rejoice in the Lord always. Woo! Do not be anxious about anything. There are these one-off verses that really do reinforce, but some of them within context, some of them taken out of context, that can reinforce don't have negative emotions. Like, if you are faithful, if you follow God, you will not have negative emotions, right? You won't be anxious, you won't be depressed, you'll be rejoicing, you'll be grateful, you'll do all of these things, you won't be angry, instead you'll be slow to be angry, and blah, blah, blah. But underneath a lot of that is for, again, going back to systemically what has happened, that a lot of us in these church systems not only have maybe come from homes where we felt like we had to have an avoidant way of approaching life, but spiritually we may have been in church systems as queer people, as people of color, as disabled people, as women. There's just a lot of different identities that we've seen injustices happen in these churches. We've heard really messed up things in sermons or in the Bible, and it has activated a lot of feelings of, I'm not safe here. There's some of us right now today where there are things happening in our county and our country that are truly unsafe. And so, at least for me, and previous things, I remember as a kid in youth group saying like, hey, this is really messed up. And my youth group leader and pastor sitting down with me and saying like, no, Dottie, don't feel those things. Don't cause trouble. But a lot of us, right, when we see systemic injustice, we should be angry. We should be upset. These negative emotions are an invitation to see deeper the heart of God that is within us. And so not only have so many of these emotions felt unsafe that we had to mute them, but they're good. A lot of them are really good, and they invite us into deeper curiosity of knowing the heart of God, of knowing our own selves, and of understanding different people. So, while a lot of us have been told don't feel these things, there is something deep in there that's like, actually, these emotions are worth feeling, and they're good, and they're okay. Even if they're not good, or they need us to be a little more out of control. This morning, I was prepping for this, and my little kid, my 3.5-year-old Becca, was having some big emotions. We're moving, my husband and I are moving this weekend, and we're just a little sleep deprived and tired and a little short fused right now. And both of us, I could hear us, as he was having these big feisty emotions, I could hear us, our shortness of in the narrative in my head is Becca, get over it, right? That's what I was feeling. And I watched us as I was going through this, okay, Dottie, I'm preaching on this, I have to. I was I have to embrace it. And so we sat together, I held him, and I was what? I was what's going on? Buddy, what are you feeling? And he went through all the things he was feeling. And it was such a sweet moment for me to feel his emotions with him. And he was that felt too much. I'm just having a hard time. I was I hear you. And then I was can we ask Daddy, how was he feeling with that? I think he might have felt a little sad. So he went and he told Daddy, he said, Daddy, that felt too much. And then afterwards, and I was are you ready to hear how Daddy's feeling? He's yeah. And my husband was Buddy, that really made me sad. And it was this super sweet exchange between these two guys that could maybe go into bro culture, but they locked in their emotions. And I was yes, there we go. This is positive masculinity. And they just in this tender way, we're feeling their emotions. It's this is the work that we're all doing, is we're really, all of us are trying to widen our capacity for emotions of ourselves and other people. And that's what helps build secure attachment, is how can I widen my capacity to embrace my emotions, but also not be dysregulated or run away from other people's emotions. So that could look like someone having a really hard day and having some emotions that might kick up things within me, and me going like, this is okay, let's do this. Like, we can create a safe place, that's a really overused word, but like we can create like a place of welcome. All right, each week we're looking at Psalm 139 as an example of secure attachment, and I'm going to read it for us. And as I do, would you just maybe feel the different emotions here that are raw, and feel the sense that God in this is comfortable with these raw emotions. And again, this is the covenantal God, Yahweh, that is being used in this context. O Lord, Yahweh, you have searched me and know me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from far away. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, O Lord, you know it completely. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is so high that I cannot attain it. Where can I go from your spirit, or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and settle at the farthest limits of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and night wraps itself around me, even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as the day, for darkness is as light to you. Actually, I'm going to read that again one more time, thanks. So think about this as emotions. Even the darkness, even the tough emotions, even the bad days, even the anxiety, the depression, mental health crisis, all of it. Even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as the day, for darkness is as light to you. For it was you who formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works that I know very well. A secure attachment with God looks like feeling like I'm okay. I can express my emotions. God honors my rage. God honors my sadness. God honors my tears. God honors my doubt, my anxiety, my fears. And God it's not even dysregulating for God, right? Like, it's okay. This is safe, and this is part of the spiritual journey. There's no consequences for feeling, but our emotions are an invitation to the deeper things going on. All right, as we move through this week, let's just keep befriending these emotions within ourselves and building our capacity for those of other people. I'm going to pray for us, and then we'll do some communion. God, Spirit, we are raw. There are just so many things cooking in all of us. Some of us may have felt really safe to express our emotions within our families or friends, but really, really unsafe when it came to the church or prayer. Some of us, maybe the opposite, felt really unsafe in our homes and our family systems, but feel great relief that we could pray honestly and earnestly or communicate however. God, would you help us to see that these emotions, holy rage, gosh, there's just so much goodness still in these emotions that have often been villainized. They might feel out of control or scary. If I express them, will people run away? If I care, will people leave me? Will the sting just hurt too bad? God, would you help us see? Would you help us create safety and security that we can express these emotions, we can engage with these emotions, and we are still safe. You are still with us. Your presence isn't leaving us. You are here. And you embrace and befriend this range of emotions. Amen. All right, we are entering into our time of communion. So greeters are walking around. They have some communion stones. So if you would like to participate, all are welcome here to participate. You definitely don't have to, and thumbs down is great. But if you would like to, just raise your hand and folks will give you some things. So every week we come to this table, not to prove we're okay, not to display our control. We come as human beings in need of nourishment, acknowledging the interdependence, the interconnectivity of us being in a community together. And so, we take this bread maybe as a sign of, gosh, the vulnerabilities of being a human. Jesus knew this so well, and he was in relationship with his community so vulnerably. And he shared a meal with them and said, "This is my body broken with you. Take this in remembrance of me." So we take the bread. And in that same way, Jesus knew the hurt and the pain of so many people and didn't run from it, but was really comfortable sitting with people in it. And so we take the juice, and he said, "Take this in remembrance of me." So we take it together. This table is for the ones that don't feel very spiritual today or have felt like they need to run from all the emotions. When we come and know that we are held, we are safe, and we are good.
There's a darkness that has tried to swallow me. I haven't seen the light for days. I've been running for so long, fear racing through my bones till it brought me to this place. Safe, I'm finally safe. I can hide here. I can hide here. Safe, you hold me safe. I'm okay here. I'm okay here. Completely safe. There's no shadow, there's no shame, no need to numb the pain. There's nothing to explain. Only kindness with no boundaries, mercy that surrounds me,
trapped in toxic shame. I was bound by my religion till I chose to break away. Now I'm finding my true colors. For the first time I feel free. Now I'm learning self-compassion. As I heal, I'm finding peace. I kept others at a distance, those who live life differently. Saw the world in right or wrong, but they're all humans just like me. I stood out and love expanded. I sent them out to play, difference as I listen. I'm amazed. In my questions, I took captive all my thoughts. Certainty was my salvation till I questioned what was wrong. Now my eyes are wide longer. I should see now to discern. I might not have all the answers, but I have all this life to I was lost in utter darkness. I was trapped in toxic shame. I was bound by my religion till I chose to break away. Now I'm finding my true colors. For the first time I feel free. Now I'm learning self-compassion. As I heal, I'm finding peace. Now I'm learning self-compassion. As I heal, I'm finding peace.
Let's give it up for worship. Dottie, these sermons, my goodness. It was funny because that last line, now I'm learning self-compassion. One of the things that we're trying to do here at Shock is to try to internalize the theology that we are intrinsically worthy and intrinsically good, and that we have original goodness, not original sin. And through that, we also learn that we can have self-compassion for the attachment styles, if we're insecure, compassion for ourselves as we navigate those insecure attachment styles. So I really appreciated your sermon today, Dottie, and I loved the worship team for reminding us we can have self-compassion as we find out these things about ourselves. And that tenderness is really, really, really good. With that, we're going to mood shift to announcements. Let's go. you notice from the start of service to now, it's pretty warm in this room, or it's warmer in this room. We are going to test run this summer a 10:30 a.m. start time for service. This is for the heat. This is for those who have families who have nap time at 12. These are for us to just practice and see how this time works for us. Never in my days did I think what would divide us at Shock was a start time. So we compromised on 10:30. So we'll see how that goes. Next slide. Okay, Pride. We have Santa Ana Pride. We're going to have a booth. Shock's going to have a booth at Santa Ana Pride this year. And we are going to do water bottle disbursement with our little Shock wrapper sign on it so people know who we are and get free water. So if you are interested in being a part of this day, whether that's donating monetarily for water bottles or literal water bottles or your volunteer time, stay tuned for that. In the meantime, you can donate monetarily if you didn't bring bottles today up until the 27th of June. We have plenty of time. And mark your calendars for Pride. You can also just appear at our table and say hi as you're there. And it's a free event. It's accessible, which is really nice. And that's something we like to see. All right, next slide. Clothing swap. So we did this a few seasons ago, and we're going to do this again. We are going to do, instead of our small group, which I'll get to in a minute on Wednesday nights at my place, we are going to have a clothing swap. So if you have clothes that you're trying to purge out of your closet, then this is a great time to bring those to this swap and see what other gems people have. And this is for the whole church, not just Haven, but the whole church. So this will also include dinner at 6:30, as usual on Wednesday night. So you're welcome to come early for dinner. You're welcome to come with your clothes. Even just come with yourselves and then find out what good goodies we have. The rest of the clothes will be donated to gender-affirming organizations so that those people who are looking for clothing that want gender-affirming clothing can receive them. Next slide. Haven. Speaking of Haven, this is our small group that we do on Wednesday nights. It's our LGBTQ+ small group. Allies, of course, are welcome. We have small, Megan's raising her hand. It's really just like LGBTQ small group with Megan. We love you. Okay. Sorry, Megan, I couldn't go on the spot. So this is Wednesday nights at my place. If you want the address, come see me afterwards. I'll give it to you. It is a good time. We are working through our series on the Book of Belonging, which is an inclusive children's Bible book that has been actually very meaningful for a lot of us adults in our, especially as we're learning about attachment styles and whatnot. See me after if you want to come meet us. Next slide. Yoga. Ryan, where are you? There's Ryan. Ryan leads our yoga group, and they're meeting today at the Santiago Park in Santa Ana at 4:30 p.m. If you want to do some free yoga in the park, it's really fun. Go see Ryan after service if you're interested, and they meet pretty regularly, so you can get more info about that from him. Next slide. We have a theology small group on Wednesday mornings. We are actually finishing up a book that we've been going through this week and talking about the future of our group and what we'd like to do this summer. So it's a good time to come. You don't need to read the book to be a part of this group, but yeah, you're welcome. It's also at my place. So see me after. Next slide. Okay, so we've been doing this thing called Coffee House, and don't worry, we're going to pick up Coffee House in the fall. But it is now summer, and we are going to turn to we're calling this Summer Sundays. And so stay tuned. We'll give you more updates on what's happening the second Sunday, which is this coming up Sunday, on what we're doing. And don't worry, it'll be fun. The summer is fun.
It better be fun.
It'll be better than fun. All right, next slide. We need 2 more volunteers for kids ministry. Thank you to those who received the call and came forward. If you are still interested, or if you're interested in helping out, our goal is to have it so you're only helping out once every 2 months, which is nice, so that you can enjoy service and all the other things. So if you're interested in this, we do a background check, we do some training, and we see if it's a good fit. And if it's a good fit, then we will have you in our kids ministry. So come see me after, or Dottie, if you're interested. Next slide. Want to stay connected? There's your QR code. You can subscribe to our emails, and then you will know what's going on, because this is a lot of stuff going on. Next slide. You can also give a shop if you want to. You don't have to, but you can. This is how you give. It really does help us, but again, no pressure. Next slide. Okay, I'm going to do benediction, and we'll head on to lunch or home. So if you would feel comfortable, you can put your hands out to receive this benediction. You can keep them close to yourself. You can close your eyes, keep your eyes open. And friends, as you go out from this place, and you go not as the balloon drifting just out of reach, but as one gently held by the hands of a God who sees you, not only in your service, but in your silence, not only in your strength, but in your sorrow. May the God who formed your inward parts meet you even in the places you've learned to hide. May you find courage to be known by God, and when you feel the impulse to pull away from community, from vulnerability, even from your own heart, remember, you are not alone. You are not too much. You are not too far gone. May you find the safety to stay close, and may you go in peace, held, known, and wholly loved. Amen. That's it. Now there's